Story time.
In the land of colors and wonders, Cartoon's Wonderland, nestled deep within a magical forest, lived a delightful, plump bear named Masha. Her thick, dark yellow fur and large, sparkling blue eyes caught everyone's attention, and she always carried a jar full of delicious honey. One day, Masha set out for the mysterious flower garden, known for the tastiest honey in Wonderland. This garden was filled with rare, magical flowers, and the honey made from these flowers was guarded by the fiercest and most protective swarm of bees. Upon arriving at the mysterious flower garden, Masha saw the honeycombs gleaming like gold among the dazzling flowers. However, hundreds of bees guarding these combs were also present. Masha decided to devise a plan to obtain the honey. She used fruits and flowers found nearby to create a trail that lured the bees to a distant location. Meanwhile, she quickly approached the honeycomb and began filling her jar. The bees soon realized Masha's plan and swiftly returned. Although Masha ran clutching the honeycomb, with fear shining in her big blue eyes, honey dripped between her fur as the bees followed her. Just when she felt all hope was lost, tiny fairies, magical creatures of Cartoon's Wonderland, appeared. Using their magic, the fairies calmed the bees and facilitated a negotiation. The bees agreed to leave some honey for Masha every time she visited. In return, Masha would protect the garden's flowers from other forest dwellers. Following this event, a strong friendship formed between Masha and the bees. Every day, as she went to the garden to fill her honey jar, Masha would chat with her new bee friends, show them the finest flowers, and introduce this magnificent honey to the other forest residents. Thus, Masha's adventures and love for honey became legendary in Cartoon's Wonderland.
Story time.
In one of the most colorful corners of Cartoon's Wonderland, there lay a legendary honey lake hidden at the end of a rainbow. This lake was nourished by rainbow rays falling from the sky on certain days of the year, producing some of the world's rarest honey. Masha was excited to taste this extraordinary honey and witness the magnificent sight of the Rainbow Honey Lake. One morning, Masha set off with great determination. She took her honey jar and a few tools, following the map leading to the Rainbow Honey Lake. As she journeyed through the forest, she met various animal friends who gave her tips about the challenges along the way. After a long walk, Masha reached the lake's edge. She couldn't believe her eyes. The lake shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, surrounded by a magical aura. However, the lake was guarded by the legendary rainbow honeybees. These bees believed that the honey should only be given to those who truly deserved it. Masha decided to befriend the bees. She offered them the most delicious nectar from different flowers she had collected around the forest. The bees were greatly impressed by this gesture and allowed Masha to collect honey from the lake. While collecting the honey, Masha walked around the lake, playing with the sunbeams reflecting off the water. That day, Masha discovered not only the world's rarest honey, but also the legend and power of friendship at the Rainbow Honey Lake. This adventure added a colorful chapter to Masha's stories and gave her a wonderful tale to share with all her friends in Wonderland. Everyone was eager to hear about Masha's unique adventure.
Story time.
In Cartoon's Wonderland, a delightful and plump bear named Masha was thrilled to hear about the existence of the legendary Lost Honey Forest. According to legend, this mysterious forest appeared only one day a year, containing the world's sweetest honey. Masha was eager to taste this special honey and discover the secrets of the forest. When the day finally arrived, Masha took her large, empty honey jar and an old map and set off on her journey. The map was filled with hidden symbols leading to the lost honey forest, and Masha followed these marks to ensure she was on the right path. Upon reaching the entrance of the forest, the atmosphere suddenly changed. A mystical fog enveloped the area, and a sweet scent of honey began to spread everywhere. Excited, Masha ventured deeper and found in the heart of the forest a gigantic honey tree. The branches of the tree were dripping with golden honey drops, a sight that fulfilled Masha's dreams. However, collecting this rare honey wouldn't be so easy. A large queen bee guarded the tree and stated that she would only share the forest's honey if Masha could solve a puzzle. The puzzle required understanding the history and nature of the forest. Thanks to her intelligence and information learned from friends in the forest, Masha successfully solved the puzzle. Appreciating Masha's knowledge and bravery, the queen bee granted her several jars to fill with the tree's sweetest honey. As Masha joyfully filled her jars, the queen bee shared the secret of why the forest only appeared one day a year, establishing a special connection between Masha and the forest. This adventure brought Masha not only the world's sweetest honey, but also legends and friendships hidden deep in the forest. As she left, Masha knew she would eagerly await the next appearance of the lost honey forest. Each year, she looked forward to this special day for new adventures and discoveries, making her one of the happiest residents of Cartoon's Wonderland.
Story time.
In Cartoon's Wonderland, there is a magical flower that blooms only one night each year. Known as the night blossom, this flower produces a special honey on the night it blooms. This honey grants superpowers to anyone who consumes it for an entire year. Masha was eager to discover this legendary flower and its magical honey. When the day arrived for the night blossom to bloom, Masha took a large honey jar and a map and headed into the forest. The map was marked with mysterious symbols indicating the location of the flower, and Masha followed these symbols deep into the forest. During her journey, Masha encountered various obstacles and the hidden inhabitants of the forest. Talking trees, fireflies lighting her path, and river fairies guiding her way all helped Masha explore this magical night. Finally, when she reached the location of the night blossom, she was awestruck. A large, bright purple flower shimmered under the moonlight. Masha carefully walked around the flower and prepared her jar to collect the honey. Just as she began to collect the honey, a swarm of protective bees emerged from the flower. Masha used the language of the forest to communicate with the bees, explaining that she meant no harm and only wanted to collect some honey. The bees, recognizing Masha's harmony with nature, allowed her to collect honey from the flower. After collecting the honey, Masha thanked the flower and the spirit of the forest before leaving. When she returned home, Masha shared this magical honey with her friends, and they all felt stronger for the entire year. This adventure taught Masha not only the sweetness of honey, but also the importance of living in harmony with nature and the value of mutual respect. In Cartoon's Wonderland, the story of Masha's night blossom adventure was told for a long time, and her courage and kindness were praised by everyone.
Story time.
In cartoons Wonderland, there was a legend everyone talked about: the mysterious Isle of Honey Jars. This island appeared once a century in the middle of the sea, and at its center stood a giant honey jar. This jar contained the rarest and most delicious honey. Masha was determined to taste this legendary honey and decided to journey to the island. One morning, Masha reached the cartoon's Wonderland pier with a rowboat and a large empty honey jar. As she set out to sea, the weather was sunny and the ocean calm. But as Masha approached the island, mild waves began to stir. Even amidst the waves, Masha's courage did not waver. After a long and arduous journey, Masha finally reached the Isle of Honey Jars. The scent of honey hung in the air around the island, and everything shimmered with a golden glow. The island was centered around a huge honey jar, surrounded by colorful flowers brimming with honey. The moment Masha stepped onto the island, she encountered its inhabitants. This island was home to talking bees. The bees shared the island's secret with Masha. The Isle of Honey Jars was composed of the most powerful elements of nature and magic, and every visitor to the island had to make a pact with it. Masha promised to preserve the island's beauties, and in return, the bees allowed her to fill her jar with the legendary honey. As Masha filled her jar, she explored the magical beauties of the island and formed friendships with the bees. As the sun set, Masha set sail for home with her jar full and her heart filled with joy. With a sense of sadness at leaving the Isle of Honey Jars, Masha knew she would never forget her adventure and new friends there. This adventure gave her more than just the sweetness of honey. It taught her the value of living in harmony with nature and the importance of keeping a promise.